Okay, welcome back to another 38 special 357 Magnum reloading video. This is number 5 in this series, and this is where I'm going to be setting up the powder dispenser and dropping a few charges. And then the next video will be the last one, which will be setting up the seeding and crimping die and seeding and crimping those cartridges. So this is my manual drum. I take it off when I'm using the progressive press because it kind of mounts to the press's mounting block. When I'm loading rifle cartridges, I set this up like this and dispense all my charges and measure them over here, and then I take them over to the two single stage presses and perform the bullet seeding and then crimping operations. So anyhow, got a bunch of flared cases here. I've got my balance set up. And let's see if I can get you in close so you can see. Okay, so I don't know if you can see those marks on the right side where the little, that little scoop is hanging on, but I've got 0 in this view screen, and then in the 1/10 grain marks I've got it centered on 0, so that means 0.0 grains. And then I've moved this little nut here so that this balances out, so now the balance is 0. And so when I as long as I don't move this little guy right here, then I can put a powder charge in this little guy, put it on here, and move this slider and find out to the 1/10 of a grain how, and actually I think it's to the 0.05 of a grain, because this is kind of set up like a slide rule. So the resolution is greater than what the numbers are marked on it are. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get started. So we've got this manual drum. And this is the handle. This is the drum. And this is the bit that you adjust. So if you turn it and release the thimble. Okay, so if you look at the thimble, I don't know if that's going to be visible. There's some numbers on that black part. It's actually up around 2 cc's, maybe a little bit less than 2 cc's, because I was measuring, 28 grain ball C powder charges. I'm going to turn this thimble back out. I'm at 1.5. 1.0. I'm going to back out all the way to 0.5, because that's the size of the scoop they give you for 38 special, so it's a good place for us to start. And that's 0.50. I don't know if you can see the 0 on that thimble. Okay. So now that that's adjusted to the right location, I'm going to twist that into the drum until the thimble hits the rim of the drum. And what I'm doing is, by screwing it in, I'm decreasing the internal volume of this drum. It is a volumetric measurement. We measure our powder charges by weight, but we dispense them initially by volume, and then adjust them by weight. Okie doke. That's all set up. I'm gonna get up here. All right, and pop the cap. Today I'm using HP 38. And I went on Hodgdon's website for HP 38 and I looked up 125 grain projectiles in 38 special. And I was given 2 projectiles. I got those written down here. It's a good idea to get multiple sources if you can. I typically use my Lyman reloading manual and the Hodgdon's website. Hodgdon tells me 125 grain Hornady XTP needs a charge of 4.3 to 4.9 grains and an overall cartridge length of 1.455. They also say that 125 grain cast lead round nose flat point needs 3.8 to 4.8 grains and a seating depth of 1.445. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work up a load here. I've got 50 cases. I'm going to make 5 different powder charges, 10 rounds each. So that'll be 2 cylinders. That'll give me enough chronograph data and a big group size out at the range to find out which of the groups is most accurate and which of the groups is most consistent. If you're just loading plinking ammo, pick a number in the middle of the range and just go with it. It's fine. Shooting 38 special out of a 357 Magnum, you almost can't possibly overpressure load it. So I'm not going to make an absolute because nothing's idiot proof. There's always a better idiot out there. Okay, so when you start charging cases, you need a loading block that can hold them upright. And then what you would do is you would put this here, turn the handle up so that powder falls into the tube, and then turn the handle down so the powder falls out of the tube into this funnel and into the case. And I like to give 2 taps to the body right there just to shake out whatever is still in that tube. And then you would look in there, and this is probably not going to show up, but there's powder in there. So that powder I'm going to take over here and pour into my balance. Okay, and then I'm going to slide Alright, so it looks like I am at 4.2 grains. So I need to make this smaller. I'm gonna go about a half turn. Okay. Drop this back up into the top. Actually, something I missed. I'll go back a step. You want to dispense several charges. and pour those back up in here. And you don't have to dispense it into the case. You can dispense it into this little guy. Okay. And then go hang that on the balance. Okay. So I'm looking for 3.8. Stop swinging. It looks like I ended up at 3.6. So that means I need to open this up a little bit less than a quarter turn. See how that does. All right, and we'll just did 3. Put that lid back on. Okay. Put that back on the balance. It's a little closer. Such a sensitive instrument. Go. Okay, we are on exactly 3.8. So I can now dispense my 10 charges. I can drop my 10 charges, and then I can take those over and set up the final stage, and then I can come back and I can adjust this for my next charge. I'm going to go 3.8, 4.0, 4.2, 4.4, 4.6. How many is that? Anyhow, I'm going to do five batches of 10 separated by 0.2 grains each. Since I know this is a perfectly measured charge, I can go ahead and put my funnel on that case and dump that in. Okay, and that's my first one. So, now that I've got that set up, easy peasy. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Let's double check. Looks like we're golden. Okay. Six. 7. 8. 9. and 10. Alright, I'm going to start another video and we'll get set up on the last step. Thanks for watching.